Everybody, welcome back. Oh, sorry, I had to use the barf bag. Oh, this chase is like actually just making me sick here. Oh, why I have to take the passenger seat? Why didn't you let me sit in the back seat, you motherfucker?
You know, I'll tell you, I haven't been getting as nauseous as I was last time, so that's pretty good. And now that I've said that out loud, I might regret it, but...
I'm just imagining this, that if I was sitting in the passenger seat of this car, I would be throwing up.
Oh yeah, the moment he slows down,
I get car sick sitting in the back seat of a car, if I'm not looking out the window.
No, yeah, no, that's the thing. I get that. You want to sit either in the front seat looking forward or just driving the car. That's the best way to avoid it.
So is that not heat 3 now? It's heat
Anyway.
2, but I'm ready to jump in the Clio, I think.
Alright, sweet. Do all of your upgrades kind of pass over to each car, or do you have to upgrade each car individually?
You gotta upgrade each car individually, which is why I wanted to get like a high-end car, but I couldn't afford the really good ones.
Okay.
So,
Anyway, last time we were talking about Arcane, which led into a tangent that Frank hates the original Star Wars films, apparently. Which is interesting to hear.
It's not really
Look,
hating them. I just do find them boring to rewatch.
that's so and you don't find the prequels boring.
Like I said in the last part.
Also, I noted that you didn't say you didn't mention episode 5 at all last time.
No, I said 5
Empire
was the
Strikes
good
Back.
one.
Okay.
I said Empire Strikes Back is really good.
We can
I
at
think
least agree
4
on
and,
that.
Yeah, I think 4 and 6 are a bit too slow. I think 4 is overrated. And I think 6 has some good parts in it, about the same amount as like 1 does. 2 is like 1 is like 70% bad, with obviously like the Duel of the Fates against Darth Maul is one of the best like lightsaber fights in the whole series, besides like the Anakin versus Obi-Wan in 3.
So first off, I want to say I
Or Darth.
I
Darth
want
and
to
Luke in
agree with
5.
you, but the wording you're using is really harsh, so it's hard to. Plus, also, I will never blame anyone for liking the prequels. If you like them, that's fine. But disliking the originals, that's an argument you gotta defend yourself on. Okay, now if you say A New Hope, kind of a bit dull, if you say that, I can almost be like, I kind of see what you're saying. I don't think it's boring. I still think it's pretty damn good.
who's best 2?
Yeah, but a lot of people say A New Hope is one of the best movies ever created. That's overhyping it.
Yeah, well, yeah. I would agree to that sentiment for Empire Strikes Back, but a lot of people, I've seen Star Wars critics and reviewers say like, yeah, Empire Strikes Back is the better film, but A New Hope is my favorite. And it's like, okay, well, that's fine. You know, there's a lot of things to like in New Hope. I think that like the first... No, I don't know. There's not a lot about it that I dislike. I really do like that film.
The massive difference that I found between the original trilogy and the new trilogy is pacing. It's massively different.
What, you think
Like
the new
things
one's
take a
paced
lot,
too
things take a
quickly?
lot longer in the original trilogy, and things happen quickly all the time in the new trilogy.
Yeah. Well, what we're saying is that Frank doesn't like the originals.
Okay.
Oh,
Would that be a reason why, Frank?
It definitely is part of it being like a lot slower. But then on the other hand,
I think A New Hope has got a really fast pacing. I feel like 1 minute they're on Tatooine, the next they're in
It's
the Death
just
Star.
not as fast as
The
new
next they're
ones.
blowing up the Death Star. It's like that all happens in one fucking film. I'm like, oh my god.
Yeah.
I feel like you could argue maybe they meander around Tatooine for a bit. You don't even see Luke for a while. I kind of get that. But I know it starts off with an action sequence right off the bat, introducing the Empire and the Rebels and Darth Vader and Leia. Then you get to follow C-3PO and R2-D2 through the desert. That can be a little dull. I get it. And then you see Luke, and then like I guess you get a little bit of Luke's day-to-day life, but it's not long before he goes and sees Obi-Wan, and he gets his lightsaber, and then he goes back to his home, and oops, they're dead, and then they go to Mos Eisley, and then they meet Han Solo, they have a big shootout, they escape, and then they're already on their way to the Death Star immediately after that, you know? And then they go rescue Leia, and that's like a whole action sequence, and then they go back to the planet with the Rebels, and then they go back to the Death Star and blow it up, and that's the end of the movie, you know? It's just shit happening all the time. I think it's a little dull in terms of scenery, it's basically just Tatooine and the Death Star.
It definitely feels faster in the newer ones.
It definitely is, I'd say.
Yeah.
They're also longer, I think.
Yeah. Like somehow they make the new movies that are longer feel faster.
Also, episode 6, you have more ground to stand on there because a lot of people don't think it's very good. I'm of the opinion that it has some of the worst parts in the franchise and some of the best.
I mean,
Very
that's why
similar to how I
think
feel
6
about...
is bad besides a few moments being very good.
I mean, I think there's more good than bad in that film, but that's just me. I feel about the exact same way on that film as I do The Last Jedi, which is that, yeah, it's got some of my least favorite scenes in all of Star Wars and some of my favorites. All of my favorite scenes take place in a throne room, interestingly enough. Basically, yeah, that's in Revenge of the Sith. That's not even a throne room.
Well, what's the one where he's in Return of the Jedi where he's like, kill your father or whatever it is?
Does he say do it?
Yeah.
I don't know if he says. I don't
No,
think
he says do it in Revenge of the Sith.
No, he says strike him down and
Yeah.
take your place beside
Yeah, that's
me."
what he says. in
pretty much.
Return of the Jedi.
Same thing.
Honestly, the second that Luke steps into that throne room, everything that happens in there is some of my favorite stuff in all of Star Wars, personally.
Yeah.
Except for the one scene that they retconned into it, that they George Lucasified into that scene, that ruins it. But that's fine. I don't care. I'm not sad at all or angry. It's fine. I think we've all talked about it before. Maybe you haven't, Frank, but we've talked about what have we? Our least favorite George Lucas retconned and added in moments, special editions. What's your least favorite, Mabini?
I don't even think about it. I can't even think of one that's actually a big deal. As far as
Haven't
I'm
you seen
concerned.
Hallie Greedo's videos on them?
Yeah, I have. That was like the videos that I watched that got me into it, and
Yeah.
I can't remember any of them.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
So
I
they
haven't watched
really
those
weren't
videos,
massive
so I don't know
changes
what,
as far as
what
I was
are
concerned.
certified George Lucas moments.
Well, surely you've heard of Han Shot First.
Yeah,
Surely.
well, that's the only one that's really there, but I still... The whole atmosphere of that scene was like, Han's gonna kill him. Han's like... The whole...
Yeah.
The,
I mean,
the
look,
whole thing.
There's a whole argument
That's a
about
George
it. My-
Lucas thing? I thought that was just a community meme.
No, so you don't know what
Being like,
happens?
"Haha." No,
Frank?
literally, I don't know discourse
Okay,
surrounding these movies.
so this is what happens. In the very original cut, well, you know what happens in the scene, right? Just in general?
Well, yeah, him and Greedo are arguing about something. I forget the context of the argument.
Well, he wants to kill Han and get the bounty.
Yeah, he's bringing him
Right.
in to Jabba.
Right, yes.
So what happens is, in the very original cut, before Greedo even gets a chance to shoot Han, Han shoots him, right? And a lot of people look at it and go, okay, this sort of represents Han's character. He's a shoot first, ask question later kind of guy. He wasn't going to risk shit with Greedo. He's not going to, give him the time of day, whatever. In like the first release or something that George Lucas fucked with it, he changed it so that it looks like Greedo shoots first before Han does. So it's like, oh, he's firing back now. He's not like shooting first. He's just defending himself.
Yeah, but
And it's this really shoddy edit, and it just kind of looks really quick and hard to tell. So in the next time that they redid the film, they made it so, okay, so now there's like a slightly longer delay, and also Han's head magically shifts to the left, so it looks like he just narrowly dodges this bullet by weird technological means. It's like, it's so weirdly edited. He literally just kind of pops it backwards. Then they edited it again, so it's even more clear that Greedo shot first, that's why it's a meme, because it's the most like, why can't you just let Han shoot first? Why? Because like the reason the fans make it a big deal is because for whatever reason George Lucas makes it a big deal.
yeah.
Yeah.
So there you go. That's your explanation for Han shot first.
Getcha. But yeah, as I said, I don't know the lexicon for certified George Lucas moments, so...
There's this one in A New Hope where a CGI fucking creature walks in front of the screen for 30 seconds. That's pretty good.
Atmosphere.
Yeah, sure. He adds in a lot of CGI creatures in the background. Anyway, my least favorite moment is in the throne room scene. Basically, the Emperor, he's zapping Luke with all of his magic electric juice, and Darth Vader, without saying a word, looks at Luke, he looks at the Emperor. Then he looks at Luke,
Oh,
then
yeah.
he looks at the Emperor.
And he goes, no.
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 He doesn't do that in the
doesn't.
original version.
No.
And you can tell he's having this internal conflict.
Yeah.
And then he finally decides, he grabs the Emperor and he chucks him over the thing and he dies and he never comes back at all, no matter what anyone tells you. But they added it in. Oh, this scene wasn't clear enough, I suppose. So they added it in. Fucking Vader saying no, just to really clarify, because apparently the audience is too stupid to realize that Darth Vader is having an internal conflict. He's such a cool character because he can convey these emotions just by turning his head, right? Just by looking backwards and forwards. You can tell he's having that conflict. No dialogue needs to be said, but they felt the need to insert it anyway because apparently we're all dribbling idiots that can't fucking read a scene for the best of us. I fucking hate it. Anyway, that's my least favorite scene that they edited. I'm sorry, did I go Star Wars nerd?
Well, I just haven't
Can
thought
I tell
about
you
Star
my
Wars
least
that
favorite
intensively
scene
in
that's
ages.
not because of the way that it's edited? The Anakin and Padme scenes in the second movie are kind of like
They
the
are
bad-
funny retrospectively, yes.
I mean, they're funny, but it's fucking horrible. It's so
Oh, yeah.
bad.
Yeah.
And that's part of the reason why
can't write-
2 is bogged down so bad, because they have to they spend
2
so long on that date. It's
I'll be honest with you
insane.
right now. 2 is easily my least favorite of all the Star Wars films.
Well, it's not a date. They're just spending quality time together.
I mean,
Yeah,
it's-
he's supposed to be protecting her from any assassination.
yeah, but
attempts.
they take it as a picnic because they're like, oh, we're supposed to be staying at the palace to be safe. It's like, no, I'm going to take you to this flower field and we're going to sit down and have a chat.
The thing about
have a
2
funny
is that
chat.
it's so fucking long, and nothing happens for so much of it, and it's just a CGI fest. And it's boring, and I don't remember.
But
any
you
of
have
it.
such cool
And every time I
moments,
watch
like
it-
Django and Obi-Wan fighting on...
Yeah, that's cool. That
Fuck,
whole
I forget what the fucking
Obi-Wan
planet's
at
called.
the
Yeah,
at
you
the
just
water
have to
planet.
go through an hour of boredom first. That's all. The
Well,
water.
yeah, and most of the shit that's happening is just Anakin and Padme circle jerking their
I
relationship.
also don't
around.
love the fact that Jango Fett is the base clone and Jango Fett's son is Boba Fett, and that never really sat with me very well. Why does it have to be that everything's connected? Why does it have to be that Boba
Well,
Fett's a clone?
Because in
Well, because I mean, it would
real
already have
stories, if
been.
you started it like
probably
that, it
already
would
would
just
have thought it
happen
up
that
when
way.
he made Boba Fett in the first place.
I
Like
don't think he
Boba
thought
Fett
that
is
at
the
all.
son of this good bounty hunter, and then it's like, oh, I'm gonna make this guy the good bounty hunter.
Why does the bounty hunter man have to be the base for all clones?
Because they
Literally
were
this
like, we
guy.
want a really sick guy for our
Oh.
base.
You're a sick guy, Frank. But yeah, when I watch all the movies and I watch them like in chronological order, episode 1, I'm kind of like, this is kind of boring, but it's pretty short in the long scheme of things, and there's some cool moments.
I mean,
Episode 2, I'm fighting to stay awake. I'm like, oh, why
See,
won't it end?
I
Episode
think
3,
for-
I'm pogged out of my fucking gourd. I love
yeah,
that
for me,
film.
I think 1 and 2 are swapped. So I think 1 is like, it has a good beginning, it slows down so much, then it gets back to like the pod racing, and you're like, pog, and then it slows down again, and then you get the fight with Darth Maul, and you're just like, I'm pogged out of my fucking mind right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree to that. I don't know. I just find Attack of Clones really difficult to get through for some reason. It just doesn't hold my attention.
And then 2 is like, again, you know, they spend so long on the Padme Anakin thing. Like, it starts off fine, it has like an okay starter. Then you have like Obi-Wan investigating the clone troops and shit, and then he fights Jango. And then I can't remember because it's been so long. I think it goes slow again. Then they end up on the desert planet, the other one, not Tatooine.
yeah, the red desert planet.
And then people get captured, and they start this arena fight, and like, oh, this is pretty cool. These Jedi are showing up, and shit. Like, this is cool. And then you have a chase sequence where you're chasing down Count Dooku. Count Dooku slaps the shit out of Anakin, and you're like, this is fun. And then Yoda shows up and starts pogging off, and you're like, this is sick.
Yeah, if you like seeing Yoda flipping around, cutting off people's heads and stuff.
I do like younger Yoda doing shit. Like, people who, like, I disagree with people saying Yoda shouldn't be able to do anything in the prequels. Like, he's younger, he can do a little bit more than when he's on his deathbed in the originals.
I agree, but again, when it comes to the prequels, if people like it, that's fine. There's enough people who like the prequels these days. It's hard to argue, and like, I just think that if you like the prequels, you should at least acknowledge the people who don't. That's all I say.
But I acknowledge them.
But when you start dissing the originals, you're gonna have to build an argument for that, Frank. You're lucky I'm so lax on it. Anyway, next time, bye.